Hello students. In the previous video, we had discussed the concepts related to the line spectrum of hydrogen, that is in structure of atom. We had moved up to the line spectrum of hydrogen. Hope it was clear to you, where we had studied that series of lines can be seen or observed in hydrogen, which are in the form of lines, and hence they are called as line spectrum of hydrogen. We will move further for the next model, that is called as Bohr's atomic model, or we say Bohr's model of atom. Niels Bohr was a scientist who studied all the other model of atoms. Say since beginning what we have, J.J. Thomson's model of atom, Rutherford's atomic model we had. So based on that we have studied different concepts. Yes, now he improvised it and he gave further explanation related to the model of atom. That is what we are going to study. So the important points that he has mentioned, we call it as postulates, and that postulates of Bohr's model includes postulates of Bohr's model. It includes these 4 points. If you remember the 4 points, then it might be easy for you to remember the other points of also. That is, first point is motion of electrons in the stationary orbits. That means what was his first postulate? His first postulate or first point, he explained that how the electrons are moving in the stationary orbits. Orbits means in circular path, how they are moving, and he called it as stationary. That I will mention you. Now this is the first point, motion of electrons in the stationary orbits. The second point was about fixed energy of the orbits. So what was the second point about? He said that the orbits have fixed energy. That was about his second postulate. In brief, I am writing. The next point was energy change during transition of electrons. That is, when electrons undergo transition. I'll explain it, however. Energy change during transition means, now you know, from lower energy, if it absorbs energy, it goes to, the electrons will go to higher energy level. Yes? So during that, what is the energy change taking place? About that also he has explained. Then the last important point which he has explained is about fixed angular momentum. Fixed angular momentum of electrons. He has also explained about angular momentum of electrons. So this was briefly of what Bohr's atomic model includes. Now we will study one by one of what its postulates are. So what is the first postulate about? So in the exam they will not ask you to explain too much in detail. They may ask you write the postulates of Bohr's atomic model. In brief you are supposed to write, but I will be giving you all the points. You can write the important points from that. I will tell you how to write, okay? Now we shall discuss the first point, that is motion of electrons in the stationary orbits. Motion of electrons in the stationary orbits. In this he said that electrons revolve or electrons move around the nucleus in circular path called as orbits. What did he say? He said, now however we know that there is nucleus which is positively charged, and around that concentrically the paths are present. However, I have told you that it is imaginary. You cannot see some lines around the nucleus like that, where you see that electrons are moving. But it's an imaginary line to say, okay, this way the electrons are moving. So what was the first point? Niels Bohr explained that electrons move. Now if there is one electron here, it moves around in a circular path called as orbit. That is in a stationary path, he said. Stationary means what? It is NARY. Stationary means which is fixed. In a fixed orbit, it revolves or moves around, he said. And he said that it is concentrically arranged around the nucleus. Concentrically arranged means around the nucleus, one orbit. Then the next electron will be revolving in the next orbit, like that. So it is arranged concentrically around the nucleus, and they can be called as stationary states or allowed energy states. What are these orbits also called as? They can be called as stationary states or allowed energy states. Allowed energy states. Allowed energy state means electrons are allowed to revolve around in that particular path. So how do you make a note of it? First postulate. Niels Bohr said that electrons revolve, or say move around, you can say revolve around in a fixed path called as orbits, and these orbits are arranged concentrically. Concentrically means with nucleus in the center and these around it. Concentrically around the nucleus, and can also be called as stationary states or allowed, ALLOWED, allowed energy states. Clear? This was the first postulate. So in brief, you can say electrons revolve around in a fixed path called as orbit, and it can also be called as station, or it is arranged concentrically around the nucleus, which is also called as stationary states or fixed energy states. The next point is related to fixed energy of the orbits. Second one is about fixed energy of the electrons just make a correction here that I had mentioned it as orbits. It's electrons, okay? Electrons. So fixed energy of electrons means when electrons revolve in that orbit. Now say in these orbits, when the electrons revolve, they will have fixed energy. This was the point said by Bohr. Bohr said that when electrons revolve in the orbit, it will have fixed energy. Because why? In a particular stationary state itself, it will be revolving. That means it will have same constant energy, he said. The energy of electron in the orbit remains constant. And in this he also said Energy of an electron in the orbit remains constant means, say for example, in one particular orbit it is moving. Its energy is constant, but there can be energy changes taking place. How you know? So if you can see this, from one orbit, now the electron is revolving in this orbit. From this orbit, the electron can jump to higher energy level. It can go to higher energy state by absorbing energy. How it can go there? It has to absorb energy. If it has to go, simply it can't jump from lower energy level to higher energy level. If it has to go, it must absorb energy, and with that energy it has to jump up. And when it comes down, again it will give out that energy. This was told by Bohr. That means the energy of electron in the orbit remains constant. It will absorb, it will take energy, go up, and then again while coming back it will give that energy and then come back. That means what? There is no energy of electron changing. Then you can make a note of it, that electrons move from lower stationary state to higher state by absorbing energy, and comes back to the lower state. How? By emitting energy, giving away energy, emitting energy. Therefore, how it is? Say for example, the lower energy state is E1, the higher energy state is E2. Then what will be the energy difference? That is change in energy. Delta means change, E means energy. Delta E is equal to E2 minus E1. Right? What happens? Change in energy means when it comes back it gives away energy, no? So that is delta E. That is E2 minus E1. That means energy of electron remains constant. If that is clear, we shall move further. The next point is, third point, is related to energy change during transition of electrons. Energy change during transition of electrons. What was told? When electrons move from lower energy level to higher energy level, the energy of electrons in the fixed orbit is constant, but it can jump from lower energy level to higher energy level, and again it can come back by giving away energy. So it is told that delta E is equal to E2 minus E1, where E2 is energy of higher state, E1 is energy of lower state. Delta E is change in energy. This was told. And then again he said, the frequency, now we know, isn't it? When it comes back, it gives out some amount of energy. So the frequency of radiation, first it has to absorb some frequency of radiation. So that frequency of radiation absorbed or emitted, the frequency of radiation absorbed or emitted is given by the expression is given by frequency. How do you denote frequency? You denote it as nu. So nu is equal to, he said, you can denote it as delta E by H. What does nu represent? Nu is frequency of radiation absorbed or emitted. Delta E is change in energy. Change in energy. H is what? H is Planck's constant. Planck's constant, and its value is equal to 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. You know that. Now how can I write this expression as? We have nu is equal to delta E by H. Otherwise I'll write it as nu is equal to E2 minus E1 by H. And this expression is called as Bohr's frequency rule. What is it called as? It is called as Bohr's frequency rule. This expression is called as Bohr's frequency rule. Bohr's frequency rule. It's clear now? It's about the energy change during the transition. Transition means change from lower to higher energy level. Here it means transition means a change. Then he said the frequency of radiation absorbed or emitted is equal to delta E by H, and that is called as Bohr's frequency rule also. This is about the third postulate. This one, energy change during transition of electrons. What was the last postulate? It is about fixed angular momentum of electrons. We will see that. The fourth postulate is about fixed angular momentum . Fixed angular momentum of electrons. Angular momentum you have studied. You know what is angular momentum, and you will be studying about it in physics as well. So what it was told is electrons moving in circular path. Electrons moving in circular path will have angular momentum of mvr. Electrons moving in the orbits has angular momentum me into v into r. mvr. This was told. What is me? It is mass of, where me is mass of electron. What is v? v is velocity of electron. What is r? r is radius of the orbit. Radius of the orbit. So he said, what is momentum? Mass into velocity. It's the product of mass into velocity. Together we call it as momentum, and with respect to its radius it is mentioned, that is angular momentum is given as mvr. Then he also said that it can be given as mvr, that is me into v into r, that is angular momentum, is equal to nh by 2 pi, where n is integer and is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. You know what is h there? H is Planck's constant. 2 pi is a constant value. Pi is 3.14, isn't it? That's a constant value here. nh by 2 pi means integral multiple of h by 2 pi. What does that imply, you know? It tells that nh by 2 pi means nh by 2 pi means n means integer, no? It is like if it is in the first orbit, we write 1. If it is in the second orbit, we write 2. It means that electrons can move only in the fixed orbits. Now for one electron, if this is a orbit, then it will be moving in that orbit only. It doesn't simply keep revolving. Okay, it doesn't go to some other state and it keeps revolving. It will mind its own business. It will stay in its own orbits. So nh by 2 pi means electrons can move only in fixed orbit. This is the point. This is Bohr's atomic model. Which are those? It's about motion of electrons in stationary states, stationary orbits. That means electrons revolve in stationary, that is concentrical orbits, and they are also called as stationary states or allowed energy states. Then fixed energy of electrons. Energy of electron is fixed unless it can change its energy when they move from lower energy level to higher energy level, and then they come back. And then delta E is equal to E2 minus E1. Here energy change during transition, delta E is equal to delta E2 minus E1 we know, where he also gave a frequency rule. Bohr's frequency rule is given with nu. Nu is equal to delta E by h. Then comes fixed angular momentum of electrons. He said electrons moving in the orbit will have angular momentum mvr, and that mvr, that is angular momentum, will be equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi, which means that electron can move only in fixed orbits. Next, these are some points which you need to note. It's for your competitive examination, it may help you, and that is why just write a note. I'll just go on writing the formulae, some important ones, as well as wherever possible I'll just explain you, okay? A note you write. This is related to Bohr's theory of hydrogen atom. Now he said in general that, see, I am explaining you the model of atom being this way, and in that he gave one example, that is for hydrogen. He explained how it will be. He said stationary states are numbered as n is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc., where n is principal quantum number. Principal quantum number. He said what, you know, this is nucleus, around that the orbits. He said that we can number these orbits as n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, etc. And this n means it is principal quantum number, which tells about the shell. So that principal quantum number will be telling you to which shell the electron belongs to. That is what he said. Then second point is radii. Radii is plural of radius. Radii of stationary states are given as Rn is equal to n square A naught. Important formulae for competitive exams especially, where A naught value is a constant value. 52.9 picometer, 10 to the power minus 12 meter. A naught value 52.9 picometer, where Rn means it is radii of stationary states and it is given as n square A naught. This is A naught value, he said constant value. Then for hydrogen what it will be? Or say radius, therefore radius of first orbit, you say. First orbit means n is equal to 1. N is equal to 1. Therefore, n square means 1 square. Radius of first orbit will be R is equal to 1 into 52.9 picometer, which will be equal to 52.9 picometer. Clear? And this first orbit is also called as Bohr's orbit. Bohr's orbit. It's also called Bohr's orbit. The next point is the energy of stationary state is given by the expression En is equal to minus RH 1 by n square, where this is energy of stationary state. You know there are many stationary states, isn't it? Stationary state means orbits. Its energy, see, radius is given by this formula, Rn is equal to n square A naught, whereas energy is given by formula En is equal to minus RH into 1 by n square. What is n square here? N is principal quantum number, 1, 2, 3, etc. Principal quantum number, not question number, quantum number. RH is Rydberg's constant. See, Rydberg's constant is different in this case. Rydberg's constant, and here RH is equal to 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 joule. Make a note of this as well. Their RH value is a constant, but 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 joule here. Next, so using this, the energy of lowest state we will calculate. Lowest state, that means ground state, is equal to, apply to this formula, it is minus RH 1 by n square, isn't it? So minus RH means minus 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 into 1 by 1 square. Clear? Therefore it is minus 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 joule. This is for first one. If it is for second one, you have to apply minus RH by 1 by 2 square. So for second state, the energy E2 will be minus 0.545 into 10 to the power minus 18 joule. Okay, these are about the energy of stationary orbits. There are some important formulae. Using energy level diagram, we can write this. That means, just remember this, okay? In the competitive exams, you can expect questions from this part. This is nucleus, 1 orbit, 2 orbit, 3 orbit, though it's not concentric. So say if this is n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, then the energies are given as here E1 value, E2 value, E3 value. I'll write here, okay? E1 value will be minus 13.6 electron volt. E2 value will be minus 3.4 electron volt